What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name's Mike. I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by two men that desperately want somebody to buy them a hoodie. They just want a hoodie. Send them a hoodie. Somebody will sponsor you. Send them a hoodie. But their names are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing great. It's a Gatorade morning.
Great.
it's a Gatorade morning, boys and girls.
Well, pull the curtain back a little bit here, and Joe's not quite himself this morning.
No, I am. I was quite myself last night. That's the problem. So yeah, this morning I am doing rough. But EP has got my back. I'm sure he's cracking a beer.
I'm going on vacation in like next weekend. Leaving for vacation.
Just on vacation?
So I just went for like a day, like 2 days.
Those are your vacations.
No, but this one's like a real vacation. There'll be a lot of drinking. So I'm taking it a little bit easy on my liver. I'm only having a light beer today.
There we go.
So we're gonna have to get a special guest for the bottom box next week, or what? How's that?
Oh no. I mean, I'm not gonna take off for the podcast.
Oh, you're gonna be here from vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that we could record a little bit early and then maybe a little bit late, and then but definitely like I'll be like, we're not gonna not record the podcast.
No, of course not.
It's not gonna not. There's no.
Game day players.
We're the Iron Men of the podcasting world.
I was going to auction up your spot for the week, but there goes that money making.
Like
that actually,
if I can get like a cut of it, we can get hoodies out of it. I mean,
well,
somebody
sends you a hoodie, maybe you'll just give them your spot.
Yeah, they can have the spot. You're like the center square though, Hollywood Squares, EP. I don't know.
No.
We can't lose you.
Now, Joe, would you prefer a box cutter or a hoodie?
Hoodie, because I don't rip that much product.
I know, but
I ripped a lot of product.
I've seen a lot of videos on the channel where you complain about box cutters and me being cheap and whatnot.
Every chance I get to complain about not having a box cutter, I will take that chance.
That's true. So what's new, EP?
I texted you guys earlier this week that Topps
pen is out. The pen is out.
Look out. The pen is out. This is serious. Everybody pay attention.
Topps Finest came out, and like Topps Finest, like back in 2012 when I bought the cases, like my goal was to get to
everybody take a drink.
Was to get to be able to buy a case of Topps Finest.
Okay.
And then this year is like, you know what? If I do this right, by the time Topps Finest comes out, I'll be able to get a case of Topps Finest.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Topps Finest is releasing next month. So I was like, that doesn't seem right to me. It seems like it releases later than that. Last year, it was in January of this year, the 2022 stuff released. So I went back and checked through all the dates and everything. And like June is actually a pretty regular month for them. They released in August of 2012. So I was a little thrown off and like went through a bunch of these different products. And I'm a little concerned that maybe Gypsy Queen's not going to come out at all. And Archives, I think, still will come out. I'm excited about that. But Gypsy Queen might not. I'm not sure if that wasn't on the list of items they cut last year. But still, it could be. Maybe they take a year off with Gypsy Queen or something like that. So Ginter is still probably on the books. But at this point, like Ginter, Archives are like the two of the really big ones that I would like to make sure to get. But Finest coming out early is
a whole case.
I'd like to get a case of all of those, including Finest. But we'll see. Back in 2012 again. Like I got to the point where I had an issue with I couldn't solve my Allen Ginter. Ended up at the hospital for a long stretch and kind of really messed everything up. And so I ended up never getting the Finest, which came out the next month. So anyhow, that kind of I would like to do that again this year, but now it's coming out early, so we'll have to see. I've gotten through quite a bit of my Series 2 stuff, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Got to sell that. Just get out there and sell it. That easy.
I did list like 100 cards yesterday from Series 2.
Wow.
And I probably sold like 30 of them.
Wow.
Just yesterday.
Good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you might get there.
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, if you're interested in seeing EP rip a case of Finest, let them know in the comments. I want to see it.
Yeah. We can live stream that.
You know, I'm a Finest fiend, right? I love.
Oh yeah,
all of us love Finest. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep.
They still do the peel on it. Is that still a thing? No. That's a shame.
No.
That was the coolest part about Finest because you're like, wait, they're actually protecting a card before putting it in a pack.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Panini could learn a thing or two about that. Of course, Tops could learn a thing or two
Right.
about
Tops
that
could
as well.
look back
So,
at their own yearbooks.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
I was wondering that too. Like I said, this last year's product released in January of this year, and normally it releases in like June. It was like June, and then it was January, and then August. Like I said, August in 2012. But it's been June every other time. I wonder if they got it in June and was like, oh my gosh, they got to try to fix this, and they spent some time and they tried send it back and said we need to redo it, and it was still a lot of errors. There's a lot of issues with the quality control.
might have been before Fanatics like tied up all the printing presses to like print for them instead of other companies.
Right.
That might have something to do with it.
Right.
Get those finest printing presses rolling, baby.
Hey, yeah, might as well. You got to play the game, right?
Exactly.
Oh, so anything new and exciting going on, Joe?
I got.
Are we done with the baseball talk, EP?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't want to.
Okay, then I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
I passed out there
Blacked
for a
out.
second, but yeah. But nothing for me. I actually have a card coming back from BGS. That's the only thing I've got. Another BGS submission, a 1-card submission. I looked at the grade already. They put the grade in the email. Like you click on the email, and it's like final grade. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't want to see that, but the thing with Beckett reveals though, if it's gold, cool. If it's not, I guess it's a little bit better now because they got rid of the white labels, I think. So now everything under 9.5 is silver. So there's a little bit of a, but you're not going to get a gem mint card out of it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have the gold foil, but it is. But it was a good grade. I was pleased with it. It was a 9.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll anxiously await that. You're going to record that?
No, probably not, but it'll be up here.
We'll just have you do it on the channel. We'll do
a live reveal
on the podcast. Yeah.
Here. It'll be one of these cards.
Another one.
Oh,
okay. Let's get into it. Enough chit chat. Do you guys see eBay is going to be cutting back severely on the number of breakers on the platform? Apparently, they sent out emails to everybody who had been selling break spots on the website that as of July 18th, only pre-approved sellers will be able to continue to break on the platform. Haven't heard a whole lot about who those people are or how many there are. It doesn't seem at this point, at least, that there are a lot of people that are pre-approved because I'm really not seeing much about it, like from anybody on social media or anywhere else saying, yeah, I'm pre-approved or I'm pre-approved. So like, I guess we'll start with the question, why do you think they're doing this?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people were getting kind of screwed, like a lot of buyers, people, breakers keeping cards, maybe not mailing out cards, and eBay getting a lot of complaints and them saying, let's just nip this in the bud now. We don't want to do, I think you said it, Mike, in a text thread. We don't want to be like whatnot. We don't want to have to go and start reimbursing people, right? Yeah. Right. We start reimbursing people for cards they're not getting when it's not, when it's not eBay's responsibility to do that. I mean, it is, and we take advantage of it quite a bit in a good way. Mm-hmm. eBay is very good to the buyers. So if you're getting screwed by a breaker, I wouldn't be surprised if eBay was like, we can't be dealing with this customer service disaster that breaking kind of has become.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Like it's like breaking is almost like the Wild Wild West, where like everybody's doing it, and there are probably a lot of people doing it who either learn from people who are doing it wrong, or they're just doing it wrong themselves. And so it leads to, I didn't even think about it from the customer service perspective, Joe. But I mean, that, like, you think about that, like, gosh, like they're probably overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. I'm guessing with some of the people that are probably breaking. On a selfish note, as somebody who, like, I've been buying a lot of like newer stuff. So when I go to like search for, different products, you end up seeing this is a listing for a break. This is for a case break instead of a listing for an actual card. So I'll be glad to see some of that cut down a little bit. So some of it was pretty crazy.
Definitely have to put minus break whenever you're trying to search anything that's not a break anymore. But yeah, Joe, I'm sure that's part of it. Cause like think about it. If you're a seller, say you sold a player spot for $100 and you pulled a $5,000 card out. Okay. I'm just not going to fill that order. I'll have to refund the the buyer $100 and I'll keep the $500 card. And like, I don't know if there's any other recourse through eBay doing that. Like they protect the money that you spent, but they're not protecting the value of the card you might get. So that's definitely a situation, you know, that I'm sure, you know, lesser scrupulous dealers and stuff are taking advantage. I mean, we see it all the time. These people are out there. They're good until they're bad, until they have an opportunity where they see something that they pull that they don't want to give away, that they
and it's gotten so brazen about it too. They just do it. Like it's almost like if I was in a break and saw a very expensive card get pulled, like if I was the participant, until that card is physically in my hands, I don't care who you are. Like I would be nervous that it's like a Panini redemption until that card is physically in
might
my
not
hand.
Be that bad. Yeah.
It might, yeah. A little drive by on poor Panini, but yeah, I mean, I would be nervous until that card is physically in my hand because you never know if the breaker just wants to get greedy, you know, and to risk your business. We talked about this with backyard breaks a year ago at this point. I mean, they're still going on, obviously, but to risk your business for, you know, a $5,000 card in Mike's example, or a $20,000 card in the what was that, a Kaboom, that they just, you know, they ended up doing the right thing, but until they were, you know, pressured to do the right thing, they weren't going to. And it's like, why would you ruin your business for that one jolt of money? I just don't get it. Or why would people keep buying from them afterwards?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, Wild West, there's probably some people who are like, listen, we're all good hobby people. I feel like we all do it right. We know a lot of people who do it right, but there are a lot of people out there that do it wrong. And we've, you know, witnessed all these sorts of people, but there are, I am sure, some people out there who got into breaking so they could open up product and pull a $20,000 card and then not fulfill the order and keep the $20,000 card, or if they hit the logo man's worth $3 million, like this gives you an opportunity. I can just keep opening stuff, like get one of those cards, and all of a sudden I'm done, and then they can be done with the hobby, their hobby, and just be done with it. I as much as I don't want to believe there are people out there like that, I know based on what we've seen, there are probably people out there like that.
No, absolutely. I mean, for all of it that you see on social media, there's probably more out there too. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of those people out there. And like, you know, we complained about Whatnot before, like their whole platform allows people to be that way. Like they're very light-handed on these people when they do stuff. And there are a lot of the people that are breaking on Whatnot know that if you screw over your buyer, Whatnot will take care of it for you. Like they don't, from what I understand, I don't think the sellers even have to make it right on Whatnot. Like Whatnot usually steps in and sends an email and like refunds people money. But again, you're not getting the card. And like Whatnot, like they talk about investigating, you know, these people and stuff. Like they should just kick them off their platform, but they don't, because they don't want to. So, you know, you have eBay, like I like pretty much the whole breaking industry. We've been talking about it a lot lately. Things are changing. Like, and I think, you know, there is some legality to it too. Like we're like Sports Card Radio, they were talking about this too. And, you know, Joe, I threw it out to you and you were kind of not really with me on it, but like, I do think some of it has to do with the potential regulations being put in, or like wanting to keep governments from regulating it or declaring it as gambling. So I think you have fanatics who are getting into breaking. You have DraftKings that are into it. You have eBay now that clearing things up. I feel like they're going to run a lot tighter ship and have a lot more control over what's done. And I think some of that is in an attempt to keep it from becoming regulated. Like that's Sports Card Radio. They're talking about, like, I'm sure the people who are pre-approved that agree to break on eBay will have a legal document that they have to sign, like saying they're going to do things a certain way and stuff. And like eBay is doing this to eliminate their liability as the company. Like, you know, there are a lot of laws out there saying that the companies like marketplaces like this aren't responsible for when other people post things to it that are illegal and stuff like that. And I think they want to keep it that way. And I think they want to try to do as much as they can to keep the government from taking a hard look at it.
It's also buttoned up now for when like probably inevitably when they do regulate it, like it's kind of more buttoned up. It's going to be easier to follow the regulations once the regulations appear, assuming they probably will.
Yeah, and from the legality point of view, I've often wondered when someone just pockets a card, like could you sue that like if I bought into a break and a card that on the open market is worth $10,000 and the breaker just says like like if it's over X amount of dollars, does it go to like an actual crime? At what point is it actually a crime where you could be sued for taking that card? We've talked about this. It's not the $100 you bought into the break. It's the potential money that you lost because of someone, just pocketing a high-end card.
Someday we should have Paul Lesko come on the podcast and like ask him all these legal questions. I think he might be willing to do that. And like, maybe we could clarify some stuff, because like, you're absolutely right. Like you would have to have some, like, you could absolutely sue somebody for it. Like, I don't like criminally. I think this should be a criminal act, but I don't think our legal system, I don't think most police stations or anything would get involved with it, unfortunately. But how is this any different than walking into somebody's house? Like, you made a contract with somebody, they paid you money for this, and then you never gave them what they were supposed to get. Like, that is taking something of value from them. It should be criminal as well, but like, it's not. Maybe if it were, you'd have less people doing it.
Right. And we've talked, how many times have we talked about like judges and lawyers, unless they're card collectors, they're like, you did what? You gave someone money to open up a box and hope you got a card out, like, and then you didn't get that. Like, they would be so confused by it that's why a lot of this stuff isn't criminal, or there might be no legal recourse with suing someone because there's nothing on the books. Maybe there is. Maybe Paul can come on sometime and tell us.
I also think, like, it's interesting too. Like, I think we're seeing a consolidation of the breaking industry. Like, I do, like, you see eBay doing it. You see DraftKings getting into it. Fanatics is going to be launching Fanatics Live, and that's like, come on, let's be real. That's gonna like eat up a big part of the breaking community, right? Even I don't know if you guys know Run Good Life. He has a channel on YouTube. He's pretty big YouTuber. I guess he has connections at ComC, and he's been tweeting about stuff showing that it looks like ComC may be getting into breaking too. He was showing screenshots of stuff that looked like it could potentially like be purchasing, like they were doing test things that would look like you could purchase in the breaks. So like, it looks like the bigger companies, like, this might be an instance where, it consolidating and going to bigger companies could actually be a really good thing for the, like, again, if you're gambling, if you want to go to a casino, do you want to go to MGM? Do you want to go to one of the major ones, or do you want to go to, Joe and
the corner shop,
corner dive here? Like, or do you want to be
a lot of fun at that corner dive
playing cards on the corner?
A lot of people getting stabbed there, probably.
Yeah. So like, I think in this case, this could be really good. And, let's get rid of a lot of I'm sorry if you're somebody who's out here like making an extra income doing it, but like, if you're one of unfortunately, people doing things the wrong way ruin it for people that do. And that's the sad part. And it happens in this hobby all the time.
Yeah. If you're a smaller breaker and you've been like doing well and people like you and you're not stealing people's cards, you're being brought down because of terrible people. Like, there's no getting around it. Like, you are an unfortunate victim, for whatever that's worth, like potentially losing your main source of income. We don't know, what these people do on the side, or if this is their side gig. You're going to lose that income because people were screwing people out of cards. And even though you were, crossing your T's and dotting your I's and doing everything right, you're going to be what do they call it? Like unintentional, like the why can't I think of the words? It's
Collateral
because I'm
damage.
hungover. Collateral damage. There it
you
is. Need a little EP bubble above me, but you're collateral damage in this whole thing.
Yeah. I really hope that the industry opens up opportunities for people like that. Again, the people who are doing it right and they regulate it. And if you stop doing it right, then you get kicked out. But I hope the opportunities open up for the small breakers too, because there are probably a ton of them that are actually doing a good job. As much as I was saying before about people, they're doing it just to steal 3 million. There are probably a lot of people that are doing it because they love it and they enjoy the interaction. They're just not don't have the profile, the overwhelming profile that somebody like Backyard Breaks has, but they still have this small community that's growing, and you hope that they get an opportunity to continue to do that.
Yeah, and if they're doing a good job, if they have a following, like hopefully they can do it on their own, like maybe not doing it through eBay, but like there are a lot of breakers on Instagram, through places that aren't Whatnot, through Facebook and stuff, that do it and do a good job and have a user base, like people that like to buy from them continuously. So, hopefully they'll be okay. It's going to be tough for the ones that were used at eBay, but again, like at the end of the day, even if you're that person who's losing the opportunity of doing it, you kind of have, like, things are coming. Like just things have gotten way out of hand, and all the idiots out there trying to make a quick buck and rip people off. Like if you're one of the good people, that the bad people were going to come back and bite you on this. So hopefully they'll land on their feet, find a way to do it. I know, is it Firebrand Breaks or something? They're a big breaker. They were saying that, people would be hiring people to come break with them. So maybe there'll be other opportunities. Like when one door closes, maybe another one will open up. Like, just got to keep trying what you do. If you do a good job of it, I feel like you'll be able to find a way to succeed. So hopefully those people do, whether it's through, another site that comes up, if Fanatics allows other people to break with them, who knows? But hopefully that'll work out for them. But moving things on here a little bit. I don't know if you guys ever watch AIH Sports on YouTube.
It's surprising he doesn't have a bigger, like, he's been shouted out by like Sports Card Radio quite a bit. I'm surprised he doesn't have, he has a bigger channel than we do, but I'm surprised it's not.
And his
bigger.
Has grown quite a bit too. But he throws a lot of stuff against the wall. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. But his most recent video, he was talking about a interview with Ken Golden, which was kind of interesting. It's really not so much about the video AIH did, but more so what Ken Golden had to say in there. He was talking about how modern cards are overproduced and they make way too much product, talking about how Fanatics is really going to have to work hard to change the hobby, and they might even have to take a financial loss for a little while to help get the hobby back. But an interesting comment that I read, like on the screen, that he didn't even really talk much about in the video, was Ken Golden was talking about Panini, and big shock. We've talked about this before. Panini's losing their license. Panini is going to print anything and everything and as much as they possibly can for the duration of their license, because they're going to make money. Like, we've been saying this, a lot of other people have been saying this, but like some people still don't want to believe it. Like, Panini product is going to be junk for these last couple of years. There's just way too much of it out there.
Like, how many one-on-ones in products? I mean, we're going to talk, some specific products, but there are one-on-ones out there, 5-6 different one-on-ones in one product of one player. It's like take that and then add the 5 of 5s, the 10 of 10s, and on and on and on. Then you've got, as cool as some of them look, you've got the snake skin, you've got the tiger skin, you've got the elephant trunk skin. And
different kinds of ice.
Right. I could say all of these things, and it could be one of this is a joke and no one would know which one, because there's so many different, someone just Googled, is there an elephant skin one? I mean, there might be. I'm making a joke. I don't know. There might actually be.
That sounds like a great B show. Like, we might have to do one on that. Which one of these is real?
Which one of these is real? I mean, because it's so true. They just print it to oblivion. They've got to make money as fast as they can. And they're going to for the next X amount of years until they lose the licenses. And then hopefully, but you're right, Mike. I mean, it's going to be worthless. It's going to be. I don't care how low numbered that card you think is. It's not that low numbered. It's really not.
I don't know if I can, Joe Perfect. Like, I don't know if I can really say anything that really encapsulates my thoughts any better than that. But I will say, like, this also goes back to what we talk about pretty much every week, like all the time. Like, collect something that you think looks cool, that you like. Don't collect it because you think it's going to be worth $5,000. Like, if you really like the look of Prism, you like the look of these different parallels, collect that for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't expect this any card that you own to be worth $1 million in 10 years or something like that.
Yeah. And Mike, I know you've said it before, like in 10 years, like some of these cards are going to be like, you're going to have so many options at some of these rookies that why force yourself to, collect one rookie when 10 years down the road, the 10 of 10 or of one set's going to be available, or you can just pick and choose whichever one, like you said, EP looks cool, and go at it from that angle, because again, and that's why it's so infuriating when I see people collect rainbows of players they don't actually care about, because it's like that part, it's like filling that chase that they're going after.
The 101, or
they got the 101, so they have to, now they have to. And
do it.
Panini just keeps putting out these different parallels, and people are like, oh, now I need a 45 color rainbow, 45 card, whatever. I, again, could be making that up. I don't know how many actual parallels there are.
Might be more than that.
There might be more than that. Would it surprise you if there were?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I have said that before, and it is true. Like, you're in the moment. So if you're collecting a certain player and you decide you're going to do a rainbow year in and year out of something, it's one thing. But then you get 10 years down the road, if you're looking back and you want to collect a player, you're not going to collect everything. You're not. You're going to pick what you like the most. So, like a gold Prism is always going to hold value because they're very popular cards, kind of like, gold Finest have been, or gold Topps Chrome and stuff like that. So, like, there are only going to be certain ones. If you want to put money, make sure it's into the more popular parallel, because I can't see, even then though, like the gold parallel out of 10, we talked about, like LeBron James is going to have how many gold parallels out of 10 by the time he's done playing. Like, so if you want a gold Prism card of LeBron James, you're going to have a lot of years worth of 10 cards to choose from. So, it's not his rookie. So is there a difference between a 2019 or a 2022 or a 2025? No,
exactly.
Like, you're going to go, oh, this one's $300 and those other are $5. So I'll buy the $300 one.
Right.
So yeah. Go ahead.
Really good point though, about the, like, if they're always going to, if something's going to look cool, get that one, right? Like the tiger skin for a Joe Burrow rookie, that would be cool, right? I mean, that would actually be a pretty cool card. Silver, I think, is always going to hold value too. They're unnumbered generally, but they have that refractory feel. So I could see just plain old prisms, I guess they're called silver prisms or whatever. I could see those holding value. But it's funny, I texted EP on the side about the person who had made that custom Kenny Pickett toy for me was like looking for a couple of different cards. And he said, oh, well, what do you think I should get of, who was the player I asked you about, EP?
Ellie De La Cruz.
Okay. But then he asked,
right now.
Joe does not know anything about
baseball. No. So then he asked me about Joe Burrow rookie. I really like a Joe Burrow rookie. So I went through and I threw out a couple ideas, but I was shocked. There are certain Joe Burrow silver rookies you can get in a PSA 9 for like $50. Like, because you're flooded with them. You're absolutely flooded with them, numbered or not.
Panini's devalued their silvers too. They've made them more readily available, and then they're not worth as much.
Right.
So which is a shame, because those are beautiful cards.
Oh yeah.
Like anybody, like older collectors like us, we love refractors, and they're Panini's refractor, and they're beautiful. And it's a shame that they just can't leave things alone to keep collectability. Like, I know at the end of the day, they're a corporation that's trying to make money off it, but like, this is the same thing that happened in the 90s. Things got hot, and instead of doing things to keep interest in the market and keep things hot, they just made as much money as they could for the short term. They don't think long term. Now Panini is losing their license, which goes back to our point that they have no care of long term because that's not going to benefit them. I wanted to talk a little bit about select football, like just to try to make people understand they don't just openly throw out, oh, we're making tons of this stuff. They try to hide it. Like we've talked about this forever, like how they put different parallels in, like, and extend it. And Topps does this too. Like they're both doing it. It's not just a Panini exclusive thing. But select football this year, first of all, 500 card set, 500 cards. So there, all of a sudden, you can print more boxes of it, and it doesn't create more of the cards because you expanded the set. They added another level, a fifth level to it. I forget what but they have like field level, concourse. You know, they have
Suite.
the new one, suite
level. Yes.
So, you know, they're trying to hide the fact that they're making way more of this product. So we expanded the base set. We put another level in there, but you guys won't know it because we're going to make like 50% more than we even did last year, but you won't know it because like it won't seem like you're getting more of the good cards.
So the field level now is a horizontal card. And I was watching breaks, and again, they're cool looking cards.
Select is a really nice
product.
Yeah, that's always one of my favorites.
Yeah. And don't forget, they just made it retail. What, 2 years ago? Was it 2020? Maybe they made it a retail product as well. Like that was the whole thing of Select is Select, right? It's a hobby based product. So now they have the retail parallels. They have the unnumbered short prints. Who knows how many? Oh, there's supposedly only 25 of these out there. But how do we know that? They're unnumbered.
Yeah.
You know, so you have that. So the snapshots, which is one of the inserts, looks exactly like the field level now. But again, and people were getting confused. They're like, oh, is this a snapshot insert or is this field level? And you have to, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're just expanding. I think the full set, Mike, is 500. So that would include like the 5 Joe Burrows that they have, the 5 Trevor Lawrences. Some players don't have all the levels either. Like there's some weird stuff with that, but still you need to collect 500 cards. That just proves no one's putting a set together. No set builders out of Select.
Yeah, I don't think there are many set builders in Panini for Panini products in general, just because of how expensive it is to open it. I mean, it's crazy. I guess probably a lot of the base stuff ends up being pretty cheap on the secondary market, but I feel like people like me are definitely not cracking open a case of something and trying to put together sets and trying to sell the sets.
You might get one set. You might get one set.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
If you do the math on it, but what is it, like 6 cards per pack or something like that? And it's
I'm not sure there's more than 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's 12 packs in a box. So you're looking at 60 cards. If you have perfect collation, you might get a set out of it because with all the inserts thrown in there too. I mean, you might get a full set if it was perfectly collated if you open up a case of it. That's crazy to think about.
As much as I like the way the current stuff looks, also, like I thought back as soon as you said the word Select, we have been texting back and forth what we're going to talk about, so we talked about it. But the minute you said the word Select, I thought back to the original 1993 Select. The red and the black football and the green baseball, just really cool cards, and they were very glossy, and another new set that was everybody got. I know I was excited about it. So
that was a great set back then too. Yeah. Great stuff. All right, well, I don't know if you guys were part of this or what, but apparently there were some Pennsylvania men.
No comment.
That were recently arrested. Apparently over the years, they had stolen a number of Yogi Berra rings and awards, and also stole some Roger Maris awards from a museum. I guess these were back in 2014 and 2016. They melted them down and sold the bars off, I guess, in New York City. Now, I'm not here to try to promote crime, but if you're gonna do something, why would you take away all the value of what you stole? Like,
I mean,
you're not doing it right.
I mean, the easy answer is you can sell the precious metals without people knowing that you stole the stuff.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So
But,
that's
I mean, eventually, apparently not though, because you still got caught for it.
Right.
So.
Well, if you're a criminal, yeah, that's what the thought process probably was.
I mean, I feel like you could have probably sold like one of the Yogi Berra rings to a collector who wanted to have it, that promised they would never tell because they have stolen
Right, because
property.
they'd lose it then.
Yeah, they
Right,
probably
right.
make more money off the one ring than you probably did melting everything down. I don't know. Pennsylvania criminals might not be as smart as others. I don't know.
I'm wearing an
and they're all
bracelet
from
right
like the
Ankle
Scranton
monitor.
area, like the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area too. So they're close.
Yeah, hometown boys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as the guy who got upset when they saw somebody like light a 101 on fire or tear a 101 in half. Like,
oh yeah.
Like I'm that person where that aggravates me. Like, it's a collectible. It's
awful.
Yeah. It's really painful to think about. As much as I said about how they were thinking, like, it really bugged me a lot that this happened.
They're gone.
Especially Yankee
they're gone
stuff,
forever.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gone forever. Absolutely.
I mean, thankfully, it was only Yankees stuff.
They have plenty of rings.
Yeah,
they have
fine.
plenty of rings.
They're like the Panini of like baseball rings.
Yeah, I think one of the museums that was hit was like a Yogi Berra museum. So, and to think that they were, he's one of the beloved characters from old time baseball. So to have that happen and have that stuff get just destroyed is really upsetting.
Yeah,
is he the one that stole the picnic baskets? Who's this Yogi Berra?
That's a different Yogi Berra.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is baseball we're talking about, not Hanna-Barbera?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know. I thought the Yankees were just giving out rings to beloved cartoon characters. I didn't know what they were doing.
I don't even know where to go with this.
Noted baseball
expert. I should put that right up there on the screen. I want to, but I should. Okay, well, let's move it on from there. We like to talk a little bit about stuff we saw on Twitter, and this week I saw an interesting tweet that was put out. I'm part of like the wrestling card Twitter, and like I'm kind of stuck in between. Like, people on both sides kind of hate me because like they think I'm on the other side, but I'm really not on any side. I guess that's the problem. But there's a lot of infighting between modern collectors and vintage collectors, just like other sports. And one person made a tweet, and I actually thought it was an interesting statement, and I thought we could spend a little time talking about it. Basically, the tweet said that, how is manufactured scarcity any different than graded scarcity? The point being that, a grading company is determining how many of these they want to put a 10 on. So if they're keeping like populations low on certain things, how is that really a whole lot different than cards that are just, created numbered to 5 or 10?
And add that with graded scarcity plus manufactured scarcity when you start grading ultra modern cards.
That's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't think graded scarcity is even going to be scarce anymore. It's not like when people used to just rip open packs and throw the cards in a box or whatever. Like, everything that comes out of a pack now is sleeved and top loaded or sleeved and card savored and sent off to be graded right away anyway. Like even graded scarcity is not going to last the test of time. It's just not, because everything is getting graded, or everything is put in a sleeve and top load. The only way cards aren't getting 10s, ultra modern cards, is when the quality control is so bad at the company making them that they're not coming out of the pack as clean as they should. But yeah, it's an interesting point to make, because we do bust on Panini for this fake scarcity thing. Cards that are being graded, if there's a 10 of 10 and all of them are graded, the 10, the one with the 10 on it is going to be worth the most, and now it's a 101. If there's only one of those cards out of 10 is a PSA 10, so now is that it's definitely an eBay 101 at that point, right?
Definitely, yes.
I enjoy being outside, on the outside looking in of this Twitter fight, the wrestling.
It is fun.
I mean, it's way better on the outside than on the inside, I'm guessing. But
I'm kind of on the outside too, but like people
no.
like I'm on the inside.
You are in the inside, but you're being torn and pushed by both sides at the same time, which is amazing. So it's amazing to watch the wrestling Twitter in general, with Mike stuck in it is also enjoyable.
I have no place.
I even told you guys that I don't necessarily, I don't like this argument. I kind of didn't really get it. Like, I do not believe that PSA is doing pop control. I have changed my mind on that. Wow. I feel like right now that there's no pop
big
control.
Statement right there.
Yeah. I think that they went through a stretch there where they had a lot of new graders, and that those graders were not as good as other ones. And maybe they tightened up some of their stuff. So people were sending in what are now 7s, and they were getting 10 after 10 after 10. And now they're saying, you know what, we need to make sure to tighten this up a little bit. I think that might be the case. So, but I don't think they're looking at the kind of card and saying, well, we can't do this because we already have 5 10s of this. So that kind of threw me off in this argument is the comparison. I just couldn't get, my brain couldn't get past the thought that I do not think there's pop control. So, and I think that's what
let me ask you,
do
you not think that if a card is valuable, they don't grade that card tougher than they do a card that might be worth $50 if it's a 10? Like take a Michael Jordan rookie. Like, don't you think it's probably easier to get a 10 on a common in that set than it is Michael Jordan, even if they're similar condition?
They probably do look at it closer, I would think, but I also don't consider that to be pop control. When I think of pop control, I think I'm looking at the number and saying, we already have 5 10s of this. We can't give them another 10 out. This has to be a 9. That's when I think of pop control. I think of that. Looking at it more closely because of the kind of card that it is, I almost don't have a problem with that, because like it is an important card, and like I want the grade to be correct. So
right, and they're not looking at that card for 10 seconds. Like, they're looking at every every comment in that set. But again, they're not looking at the pop report EP and saying, well, we already have 5 10s of this card, we can't have another one. They may not be doing that, but what they are doing is they are scrutinizing that card now at a higher level because it's valuable. So they may not be directly looking at the pop report, but they're looking at that card way closer than any other card in that set because of its value. So at that point, while you're not looking at the top number, right, you're spending more than 10 seconds on that card, on a Jordan rookie, than you are some common card out of that set.
Might not be pop control, but they're setting the bar a little higher, I think, to have to reach.
And I'm okay with that. I hate that people use the term pop control, because
I'm sorry I interrupted your point there. You were getting, I think, to another point about the graded scarcity versus.
That was pretty much
okay.
He was like, "Do not put me on the spot." I don't
think there's pop control, so that kind of I could not understand. Like, my brain was too busy being angry at somebody talking about pop control that I couldn't get around the comparison of the manufacturer scarcity versus graded scarcity. I don't know. Like, I don't understand the comparison. So, because my brain can't get past the.
I mean, obviously there's a difference between graded scarcity and manufactured. Like, part of the reason that things were scarce is because they're not easy to find in a good condition. Like, that is different. Yes, at the end of the day, maybe there's only 5 of each, but like, again, we talk about, but will there be 5 more of that one next year and 5 more of that one the year after, plus like 10 of that one in this color and 20 of that one in this color? Like, so it's just not a black and white question answered there. Like, there are lots of shades of gray in there. Like, you would be a moron to say that like 52 tops mantle is the same as a manufactured scarcity. It's just not. The reason it's valuable is because there were tons of them made, but because they're so old, only so many exist, and probably not many more will ever exist that are in the higher grades, because yes, you can find one maybe still that will grade up, but it's going to be hard to get a 10 on a 52 mantle. It just will be, no matter how many cards show up. So like, it's not the same, but I can kind of understand the point. Like, because there are a lot of other cards where, because people haven't sent them in, they're a low pop and people think they're more valuable than they should be. Like that's manufactured graded. Like I guess the point I'm trying to make is there can be manufactured graded scarcity and then non-manufactured graded scarcity. It's not all the same. Like when the 90 hoops Michael Jordans were hot because nobody ever sent them in to get graded because they were a junk wax era card and there are
90
millions
Marvel
of them out there.
Universe.
Yeah, exactly.
90 Marvel Universe.
So like at one point in time, they were low pop and, they were selling for big money. And that was really manufactured graded scarcity, if that makes any sense to anybody listening.
It does.
But that's the kind of thing.
It makes total sense, but I could not repeat any of what you just said.
So the gist of it is, I think in some ways that statement is correct, and I think some ways it's not. So like I do believe in grading on older cards, and I've always felt like that's really where the value is in grading. Like, unfortunately, we found out that they don't find trim cards and they miss a lot of other stuff. So, like, my opinion of that, but in a bubble without all the shadiness going on, like having a service out there that can authenticate and tell somebody the difference between the highest quality of something old like that and a lower quality is a valuable service. Unfortunately, because we're the sports card hobby and everybody's trying to find a way to take advantage of it to make more money, that kind of gets bastardized in the process. But like at its core, I think it's good. But I just don't. I think there are many levels of that. So in some ways that I think it's right that manufactured scarcity isn't really a whole lot different than graded scarcity, but in other ways it's completely different. So
and someone who I don't particularly care for on Twitter made a reply to that comment, the original tweet that we were talking about. Then they actually made a good point. So I'm not going to say who it is because I don't like them. And I don't want to give them credit for a good point, but that pop report is not always legitimate either, because how many people get a 7 back, and especially like an ultra modern card, and they crack it and they resubmit it. So like I would not be surprised, and I don't think you guys would be either, if there was a set out there, say the gold prism Joe Burrow rookie card, let's just say for sake of argument, numbered out of 10, right? Would you be shocked if there were more than 10 on the pop report? I wouldn't be.
Absolutely
no. I could see it happening.
It could be a numbered out of 10 card with 15 on the pop report. I mean, I'm waiting for that day to happen. Like, you just have to assume that the people get a 7, crack it, send it back in. Maybe they get an 8. Oh, maybe I can wipe it a little bit better and send it in, get a 9. The same card. There's probably a 101 out there on the pop report twice. There's gotta be. Like, I should have done the research, just scroll through the pop report for hours and look for a 101 that has 2 cards on it. Maybe that rock that sold for all that money.
Whatever happened to the Geniment thing that PSA bought a couple of years ago, that they were going to use the AI to keep
supposedly
people
they're doing
from
that.
cracking it.
Right.
Are they?
Supposedly they are, but some of the podcasts I listen to, they say they are doing that, where they're like, they can look at the different, like the very, very fine detail, like
I guarantee you there is absolutely no way they are using that on any kind of broad scale, because it would take way too much time. Like the scanning of the card would take more time than the grader takes to probably grade 10 cards at this point. So they're definitely not putting like 99.9% of the cards into that scanner, right?
Right. Well, I think they are, though, aren't they? They are.
They're the low res scans when they get cards in, but that's not what that product.
Well,
was
no.
to do.
What I'm saying is, I think they're like serial numbered cards now. They're not. If you have a card that you send in that was graded, a serial numbered card, they will only give that card the original grade. I believe that they started like enforcing.
Well, that would just be like basic bookkeeping, though, and not having to use like Geniment. Like, if you got number 2 out of 10 in twice, you should give it the same grade. Although,
do they keep track of that?
Allegedly, they
And
started doing that just now. Yeah. They said,
Well,
this
what they
relatively
should
new
do
thing.
though is they should regrade it and take the original one off the pop report, right? Like that would be
That's what they should do, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's what they're doing.
I
At
feel
least
like
on some of the
I feel like
podcasts.
every time it's sent in and graded, like especially with a serial numbered card, they could remove one from the pop report if they know they graded that before. If they're keeping track of that information, you would hope they are.
Right.
right.
But again, with
I
PSA, we don't know what they're doing. 'Cause they
exactly.
never
I
let
mean,
us know.
the one good thing about one of many good things about SGC is for numbered cards, they actually put that on the label. So if it's all scanned in, you know that that's numbered card. PSA doesn't do that, so I'm curious how they're bookkeeping that, if they really actually are. And I know some people who do crack and submit cards to either a different grading company or to PSA again. I've seen people actually put the flap, send them back to have them removed from the pop report.
Mhm.
I didn't know that was a thing that people did. I
Yeah.
saw a couple of
Yep.
grade reveal people do that. I mean, that's at least helpful. I mean, it's at least
Right.
taking that off. But again, there's so many cards being graded, so many different graders.
Mhm.
Who knows if all this stuff is happening across the board? It's
Right.
probably not.
Right.
To be fair, it's
Right.
probably not.
I saw a comment on one of Neo's videos because he got a 6 on one of his Bowman Sapphire cards, and he like cracked it out and was looking at it, and like I don't know how he got a 6 on it, but like I was reading some of the comments to see what people were saying, and like one person was like, well, PSA is not like, one person said, why can't PSA let us know what their process like Peter from SGC does? And the person's like, well, they're not going to give up their like trade secrets. I'm like, they're looking at cards. Like, what kind of secret is it? They have people they pay to look at the surface, the edge, the corners, and the centering.
Yeah,
Like,
to follow the literal guide they have on their website that
Yeah.
says this is what
Right.
the different
So,
PSA
like-
10.898 is.
yeah, so I don't know. Plus, they're also selling a service that people are attaching value to. So, like, people
Yeah.
should really understand how it works. Like, it's not a trade secret. Like SGC isn't
there's
going
no
to go,
secret
oh,
sauce."
they're doing this. We're going to start
Yeah.
doing that. And we'll be number one. It's not,
But
it
it
doesn't work that
ultimately it
way.
comes down to no one cares about the actual cards. Like,
Yeah. Well,
again,
that's
you know,
that's
at the end of the day, that's
basically all it is.
just as a side story. We were talking about this before on our text thread. You guys are selling some slabs on your eBay pages, and I always just take the scans. And I think, Mike, it was you who said the PSA scans weren't really, they were kind of coming in fuzzy, and
Yeah,
you
they're
couldn't really see the
awful.
card great,
Yeah.
right? And I go, oh, people actually look at the cards when you post them, because
Probably.
that's would be shocking to me. As long as that label is clear, you're set, you're safe.
Yeah,
So-
probably right. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap things up here with one other little thing I saw. EP, I know you're doing your little case project here. I'm
Yes.
thinking once you get $5,000 in your pocket,
Oh no.
I have the answer for you right here. A company called Brand Vendors out of Phoenix, Arizona, has
Oh, yeah.
come up with a baseball card vending machine.
Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. You will be able to sell 4 different types of packs. I think it's like, I don't know, like a little over 5 feet high and like 1.5 feet wide. And it accepts all kinds of like card payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay. They're only $4,999.99. You can put multiple ones together. I think, EP, your next step should be filling up card vending machines.
As somebody who was very nervous about putting cards through a feeder scanner, I don't want to have the packs falling and hitting or falling and
I'm
even
sure there's
sliding.
like a
Sure,
They have
you
like
know, there's
4
there's
different
plenty.
compartments, like 2
No.
up top, 2 other, and they come right out like where
just-
they're at. So it's
I
more
don't-
like, you know, turning the quarter machines and getting your little.
where are they putting these at? Where are these
You can
going?
put them
into?
wherever you want, I guess. Any place.
So
you
if
can-
I'll be walking down Mill Street one day, and I'll look, and it'll be a card vending machine. I'm like, oh, EP made that 5,000.
I got a question. Can we put the Mike's Retro Trading Cards logo on the side of it?
I'm sure we could. Absolutely. Why not?
All right.
Got to brand yourself.
Because I mean, I have some packs sitting in boxes here. Mike, you have some packs sitting in boxes here.
we're gonna open up a junk wax vending machine. We'll only have to sell
How
like 1 million of them to make
I was
money
gonna say,
back.
how long would it take for you guys to actually pay that vending machine payment off
Oh,
selling junk wax
wow.
packs?
Well, if somebody was to sponsor the channel for $5,000, I would be fine with creating that content. We could just update it, show like the 4 packs every month we sell, and do the data.
We'll put
and
thanks to
EP would be the one buying
sponsor.
them.
We'll put the sponsorship. I would
Yes,
probably
with the
like
sponsor.
I'd be buying Mike's packs. Mike would be buying my packs. What are we even doing right
Yeah,
now?
we probably have better than anticipated sales because we're buying each other's. Oh my lord. Oh yeah. So yeah, in case you
Do it.
want to put
Do
that
it.
money from your case project aside to
All right.
build to
I'll
something
chip in.
bigger.
I'll chip in $1,000 for that action.
People make a living out of having vending machines. Like
do.
I feel like cards are the next big thing. Be right next to every soda machine in
I was
in the
gonna say,
United
you see
States.
EP
Soda
like
and a
with
pack of cards.
Look, I'll
you see
tell
EP
you.
with a dolly with just cases
Yeah.
of cards that he's filling up like a Pepsi representative would.
That'd be
That'd be hilarious.
fantastic.
Well, I gotta tell you that I went up to Sheets this past week, and they have the new Pokemon cards. They have a big display of the new Pokemon cards there, and I went up on I think a Tuesday, then again on like Friday or something like that. And I bet you they sold through half of them, and I bet you like the next time I go, they're going to be gone. So I mean, there are some places like Sheets where you could sell some of that stuff.
I'm sure you could sell
I mean-
Pokemon cards out of the vending machines.
Yeah.
Like,
Why let
but then you'd
Sheets
have
get
to-
all that cheddar?
like it's going to be vandalized in a second. Like people, we're just putting packs
All
of
my
national
1990 upper
treasures
deck
in there.
packs are gone. What am I going to do?
Oh, I have some 91s here. Thankfully, I'll fill them. Okay. All right, guys. That was a pretty fun chat this week. That's all I got. Anybody else have anything? Any
I'm
closing thoughts of wisdom for our viewers?
I'm gonna go take a nap after this. I
Okay,
think.
sounds like a good idea. All right, guys. Take care. We will see you next week.
See you, boys.